So 200 plus 10 means 10. 200 plus 10 is 210. So the new value of B we will write into B is 210, and commit means that this is the last instruction. All this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, all 7 operation of this transaction T2 has successfully completed. Then we will set its commit, this is the last instruction of this transaction T2. In the same way, next is schedule 2. In this schedule we are performing transaction T2 first. All the operation of transaction T2 we will execute first, then other all the operation of transaction T1 execute. So this example, schedule 1 and schedule 2 is a serial schedule. Serial schedule means one after another. We completely execute one transaction, then execute other transaction. Here we completely execute transaction T2, then transaction T1. So it is a serial schedule, one after another. We execute completely one transaction, then we start the other transaction. In here you can see schedule 3. It is not serial schedule because it's executing several operation of transaction T1, then some transaction of T2, then some operations of transaction T1, and last some remaining operations of transaction T2. Means we are not executing this transaction in serial order, means one after another. We are executing some operations of a transaction, then some operation of other transaction, then several operations of one transaction, and several operations of other transaction. He let L1 T1 and T2 be a transaction defined previously, as we have seen. The following schedule is not a serial schedule because it's not executing one after another, but it is equivalent to schedule 1. What I want to say here, this is not a serial schedule. What is equivalent to schedule 1? Equivalent to schedule 1 because what's the consistency in schedule 1, it's also preserve that consistency in schedule 3. Then if two schedule have the same if they maintain the consistency of database, we can call this is a equivalent schedule. Here in schedule 1, 2 and 3, the sum of A and B is preserved. How this value is preserved? Let's see from let's start from the schedule 1. Just 1 minute. Let's pen. Suppose the current value of A is 100. Current value means the balance is 100. We read that 100, then deduct 50. 100 deduct 50, then it will be 50. Then write 50. Read B. Suppose the current value of B is 200. Just consider and write 2 and commit, means transaction T1 has been completed. The initial value of A is 100 and B is 200. Let's make this instruction we have not executed. 200 plus 50 means it will be right 250. So after completing the transaction T1, the new value of A will be 100 and B will be 250. Then transaction T2, its read value of A is 50. Temp another variable temp. Temp value will be 10% of A. A value is 50 and 10% of A is 5. Then it will deduct A minus temp. A value is 50, temp value is 5. It will write it 45. Write 45. Read B. Read initial value of B is 250 and B plus temp. What is the value of temp is 5. When it will be write 255. So after completing both the transaction T1 and T2, what is the value of A plus B? Initially it is 100 plus 200 is 300. and after execution both the transaction, A is 45 plus what's the value of B is 255. 45 plus 255 is also 300, means it's maintain the consistency our data consistency of our database in transition in schedule 1. Again check the consistency for transaction or schedule 2. In schedule 2, let's again just consider value of A is 100 and B is 200, just initial value we are considering. Read A is 100, temp, another variable temp is 10% of A. What is the 10% of A? 100, 10% is 10. A deduct temp is 100 minus 10 is 90. Then write A is 90, value is right. Read B is 200, B plus temp, V current value is 200 plus temp is 10 equals to 200 plus 10 is 210. After completing the transaction T2, this is the value of A and B. Then transaction T1, it will read value of A is 90, deduct 50. Of 90 minus 50 is 40, and write A, means the 40 value of A will write, and read again B. B's current value is 210 and add 50 rupees. 210 plus 50 equals to 260, and write B 260. Again check the initial value of AB, and after completing this schedule value of A plus B. Initial 100 plus 200 is 300, and after completing this schedule transaction T2 and transaction T1, 40 plus 260 is 300, means it's consistent